Hello, it's Amy, and I'm back once again with the Journal of Emily Shore. This is the diary of a teenage girl in the United Kingdom in the 1830s. And if you're new to these videos, you can check out the Emily Shore playlist on my channel page to start from the beginning. So we are on chapter 11, and today we're going to begin with the entry for August the 11th, 1837, which was a Friday. I must add just a few lines to say that I have taken up the paper, and that Winthrop's speech is most incorrectly reported. I was quite provoked to see it. The mistakes made are ridiculous. All the point and wit are destroyed, and the whole is shamefully abridged. No one would think it such a good speech from this edition of it. I was much amused to read of the glorious phalanx of ladies who graced the orchestra, whose bright eyes and sweet smiles from behind the old English heart of oak told far more than words how deeply they felt the success of the Conservative cause. Now I was one of this glorious phalanx, and I think it would be more correct, at least in some instances, to say that their broad grins and hearty laughter showed the high excitement they derived from the scene. I am sure this was my case. August 15th, Tuesday. Lauder's house, Bridport. Uncle Paul, like Papa, takes pupils, and his vacation being ended, one came back this morning, for which I am very sorry. He is a Mr. Carden, and we have here an editor's note, well known afterwards for the attempted abduction of Miss Arbuthnot. I wonder if we're going to get that story, or if that's the only bit we're going to get about this attempted abduction here. But he is a Mr. Carden of Irish family, and is a very handsome youth of pleasing appearance. But I understand that he is by no means an agreeable inmate. And here we have a heading from Bridport to Cadnam. August the 21st, Monday. The last stage before Southampton is Stony Cross, 11 miles from that place. Here we put on lanterns, for it was between 8 and 9 o'clock, and a thick, cloudy night. Soon after, the welcome sound of a drag chain rattling beneath us fell on my ear, and to my great delight we descended into deep, dark, uninterrupted forest, the road seeming pierced through dense wood. The lateness of the hour prevented my distinguishing much. The trees each successively gleamed with a frosty white as they came within the area of the light cast from the lanterns, and then each passed rapidly away into the thickening mass of gloom behind. I saw that there must be intermingling mild of light and shade, though at present the shade was that of night, and the light only the rapidly moving illumination of the lantern and the sparks of fire which streamed brilliantly from the drag chain as it struck the stone on the road. I was greatly delighted. At last, we have reached the New Forest. At last thought I, we have reached the New Forest. She's got some weird quotations in here, so she must be quoting a piece of poetry, perhaps. We continued to travel through thick wood till we reached Cadnam, a village about a mile from Bartley Lodge. A little beyond Cadnam, on the roadside, stands a public house called the Coach and Horses. Here it was arranged that Papa should meet us. The coach stopped. My heart beat quick with expectation. Through the darkness I distinguished two individuals. I knew one of them, who approached the coach door. I held out my hand. It was seized by dear Papa, and I was happy. At Bartley Lodge. Yes, at our new home, at that home to which I have looked forward with so various feelings. But I must tell how we came here. Well, the footman William remained behind with Richard, looking after the luggage, for which he had brought a cart. Papa took me under his arm and led me to the house. The coach had stopped at 4 crossways. Down one of these, to the right, we went. It seemed pierced through a dense mass of foliage, and the darkness prevented me from distinguishing the glades. In a few minutes we turned out of the road into a path on the left, which took us into deep shade, where we groped about amongst the trees, and even Papa lost his way. Presently we came to a gate and emerged from the dark forest into an open park, where we could see our way sufficiently. We followed a straight carriage road which led up a slight ascent and seemed to terminate in a cluster of wood. It was too dim for me to distinguish more. A bright light appeared before us. It was that of a lantern held by our old, well-known servant Mary to guide our way. She had advanced a little way from the house and met us joyfully. I could still hardly see where we were going. We passed through a little gate and shrubbery and came by the back way into the kitchen. Mamma and the children had been waiting there and looking out for us for half an hour or 3/4, and at last in despair had retired into the drawing-room. Thither Papa led me. I shall not describe the evening. It was all joy and happiness. How much we had to tell and to hear, how many questions each had to ask and to answer. I did not this evening see anything of our new house except the drawing-room, Mamma's bedroom, and my own. The first is a large, lofty room, 24 feet long. I like it better than at Woodbury. It has a pretty light paper, a very handsome, old-fashioned carved chimney-piece, and 2 windows. Mamma's room is just the same size. Mine I quite love. It is at the back of the house and has 2 windows looking out into the garden and forest beyond. Mary, our servant, has taken pains to fit it up nicely for me and hang up my chronological charts all round, which was a very pleasing bit of attention in her. When I went up to bed, Mamma accompanied me. August 22nd. All went down to prayers before I was dressed. When I descended, I saw a group of happy, smiling faces assembled around the breakfast table, a sight to which I had long been unaccustomed. In a shrubbery round the little wicket gate, I saw a yew tree. I stopped before it and remarked to my sisters who are with me, "I hope the golden-crested wrens will build here. It is just the place for them." I had scarcely uttered the words when suddenly perceived, suspended from a bough, the elegant nest of the very bird of which I had been speaking. "Why, here's the nest!" I exclaimed in amazement. The young were flown. I broke off the bough and carried my prize into the house. September 11th, Monday. And now I will do what I have long waited to do, describe my room, my dear little room, the possession of which is a true delight to me. I call it my lion's den. It is quite my property, and I feel completely independent in it. I can spend here whatever time I like, sit up in it when all the house has gone to bed, and suppose me gone too, and can arrange its contents as I think proper. Everything in it is my own, and everything which is my own is in it. To begin, it is at one end of the long passage in the 2nd story. Its aspect is northeast, looking into the garden. Its dimensions are near 18 feet by 12 feet 4 inches, and it has 2 windows with white curtains. On one of the long sides is a 4-posted bedstead, hung with moreen, opposite to which is the fireplace, which has a handsome carved chimney-piece. On one side of the bed near the windows is a cupboard with 5 shelves, opposite to which is the wash-hand stand. On the other side of it, between it and the door, is a bonnet press. The dressing table is between the windows, and at the opposite end of the room are a mahogany chest of drawers and a painted bookcase of 5 shelves. Before the fireplace stands a little mahogany table at which I am now writing. The room contains 3 chairs, and now I must describe the ornaments of the walls, which consist of various engravings, likenesses, and charts, drawn up by myself, altogether 58 in number, quite covering the paper hangings against which I have fastened them with pins. The engravings are views, groups of figures, heads, birds, and beasts, etc., besides a framed one of Potton Church over the chimney-piece. The likenesses are shades, cut in full length, representing Grandmamma Shore, my uncle, Aunt D, Aunt B, Papa, and William. The charts are tables of chronology and a set of arguments against dissipation, all fastened to the wall with tin tack. In one window is a chair, in the other a little chest of drawers of chestnut wood, holding my collection of insects. Between the bed and the cupboard are pegs to hang up cloaks, etc. The cupboard contains, on the first shelf, stuffed birds and large bird eggs. On the second, the nests of the bea and the golden-crested wren. On the third, drawing books, scrapbooks, manuscripts, etc. On the fourth, map books. On the chimney-piece stands bottles of lavender and eau de cologne, a little writing box, the bronze-mounted thermometer, which Anna gave me, a bag, and a morocco case. On the table there is nothing just now but my rosewood desk, at which I am writing, a china candlestick, and a drawing book. Near it is a deal box containing dresses. The bookcase contains the greater part of my library of 128 volumes, besides 5 of my own works bound up. On the top shelf stand also a work box, a pen box, a paint box, and a botanical tin case. Between the fireplace and bookcase stand against the wall a bonnet box, a drawing frame, and a system of birds. And system of birds is in quotation, so that must be a title, glued on a board. Between the bookcase and chest of drawers stands a little cabinet or portable cupboard of 2 shelves, one filled with letters, the other containing shells, a palette, bottles of gold and silver dust, chalks for drawing, ornamental baskets, locks of hair, etc. On this cabinet stands a deal box filled with birds' eggs. On the chest of drawers are placed a great portfolio filled with penum ferns and mosses, a portfolio of my drawings and drawing paper, a portfolio of maps, a little black leather portfolio containing various miscellaneous articles, my registering books of bird songs, and 2 bound volumes of the Diffusion Society maps. Between the drawers and the door is a trunk of dresses. On the bonnet press is a box of minerals and other curiosities, and on the box my large old mahogany desk, and on the desk a work basket. And so ends the description of my room, the appearance of which is somewhat grotesque and singular. I like it all the better in consequence. And before we close here, we'll just look at this short little note for September the 15th, which is in brackets, from the editor letting us know what it was, but we have none of the actual words of that entry. Rather, it just says September 15, and in brackets, in a ramble through the glades, an adder was killed by the youngest boy. And we'll leave it there, and we'll come back tomorrow for the entry for September the 16th of 1837. And so that is quite a detailed description of a large and well-filled bedroom.